Here's a tough pill. You're not single because you're unlucky. You're not single because there aren't good men or women left. You're single because, all right, brace yourself. You're comfortable. And comfort is a sneaky little villain, even if it is lonely, even if it's frustrating. Your brain would rather sit in the same old chair with the same old remote than risk the discomfort of real change. But here's the good news. And yeah, I'm about to ruin comfort for you forever. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how comfort keeps you stuck, why discomfort is secretly the birthplace of attraction, and what it looks like when you finally step into that space where love can actually happen. If you've been waiting for your love life to change without having to change anything yourself, this one's for you. If that's at all interesting or intriguing, I hope you'll stick around because that is what's on the agenda. You say that you're fine being single, but come on, I know a lot of you really mean that you've learned to tolerate it. You know how to make dinner for one, and sure, you've got your routines down pat. You can fill a whole Saturday with errands and, I don't know, maybe yelling at your phone when it auto-corrects for the 50th time that day, but that's not happiness. That's survival mode disguised as comfort. And the human brain is sneaky. It's going to take predictable misery over possible joy 9 times out of 10. Why? Because misery, you already know, feels less risky than the mystery of change. So you stay stuck because you want to, because your brain has tricked you into believing that misery is somehow safer. Spoiler, it's probably not. Picture this. You even think about downloading a dating app and suddenly your stomach flips like you just got called into the principal's office. Why? Because your brain doesn't know the difference between I'm about to be eaten by a bear and I might have to make small talk with a stranger over cocktails. At 60 plus, your brain has decades of practice convincing you that anything new equals danger, which is hilarious because the only real danger is staying stuck. That knot in your chest before a first date, that's not doom, that's aliveness. That's proof that your story isn't over yet. The trick isn't to avoid the feeling, it's to recognize it for what it is. Growth knocking on your door. Hello, let me in. This is where your comfort zone gets really good at spin. Excuses start sounding like gospel. Oh, I'm too old. Nobody's looking for somebody my age. All the good ones are gone. No, friend, those are not facts. Those are bedtime stories that your comfort zone whispers to you so that you can stay tucked in where it's familiar. Here's how to smoke out an excuse. If believing it keeps you stuck instead of moving forward, it's a lie, period. If excuses were true, nobody over 60 would ever fall in love again. And yet they do, every day. The difference is that they stop giving excuses a microphone. Think about the last time you were genuinely excited. Not the pizza finally arrived excited, but butterflies in your tummy excited. Did that happen while you were at home in sweatpants watching reruns? Yeah, attraction doesn't grow in safe, predictable, boring spaces. It grows in the unknown, the flirty back and forth with somebody new, the surprise of finding out you share a weird hobby with somebody, the tension of not knowing exactly where the night is headed. That's attraction. Comfort is cozy, but cozy doesn't make sparks. Cozy makes naps. Here's the truth. The people who succeed at dating after 60 aren't the ones with six-pack abs or Hollywood faces. They're the ones willing to be uncomfortable. I've worked with people who thought they were just hopeless cases, terrified to write a profile, afraid to go on dates. But the moment they decided to push through the discomfort, magic. Not because everything went perfectly, no, because they realized that perfection isn't even the goal. Progress is. Confidence doesn't come first. Courage does. Confidence shows up after you survived enough awkward first dates to know that you're not going to die from one. I hate to break this to you, but if you're waiting for love to stroll up to your door like dinner, you're not waiting for a partner. You're waiting for a DoorDash delivery driver. Love after 60 doesn't work like that. If you're waiting for meant to be, you're going to be waiting an awfully long time. Love isn't easy, it's effort. Love is risking rejection and sitting through weird silences, figuring out how to flirt without feeling like you're auditioning for a sitcom. No, easy love is a bedtime story, but real love is work. But it's work worth doing. Now let's get practical. If you've been dating or not dating the same way for years and it's not working, guess what? The pattern is the problem. Always date the same type, time to expand. Always wait for the other person to take the lead, try initiating. Always write somebody off after one awkward date, give them a second shot. Breaking patterns is like breaking in new shoes. They always feel wrong at first, but eventually you realize the old ones were giving you blisters anyway. You don't need to dive into the deep end all at once. That was a bad metaphor. How do you dive in halfway? Start small. Write a profile, even if nobody sees it yet. Say yes to a casual date. Let your friends set you up instead of automatically saying no. Each step builds your tolerance. The first time you might be sweating, but the second time, you may be just a little nervous. By the third or fourth time, you realize, hey, you know what? I can actually do this. Discomfort may not go away, but it stops running the show. I mean, here's the secret that comfort doesn't want you to know. Discomfort always shrinks with exposure. That first date after 10 years, my God, your heart's racing and you're wondering if your outfit's wrong. You're convinced that you've totally forgotten how to speak your own language. But by the fourth date, you've totally found your groove again. I mean, it's like learning to drive, right? Terrifying at first, boring eventually. Same thing with dating. The scary stuff becomes second nature once you do it enough. So the point here is that it doesn't last forever. It's very short-lived. And here's the kicker. Comfort isn't even free. Every year you choose comfort over growth, you're paying in time that you can't get back. You're paying in missed connections, missed dinners, missed laughter, missed chances to wake up next to somebody who thinks you're the best part of their day. Yeah, I know, comfort looks cheap, but it's robbing you blind. Discomfort, on the other hand, pays you back with interest. Every time you lean in, you grow stronger. Every time you risk it, you learn more about yourself. And every time you show up, you increase your chances of finding somebody fantastic, someone else brave enough to show up too. And here it is. When you embrace discomfort, you somehow become magnetic. People can feel it when you're alive and open. It's a tingly thing you give off. You're willing, and that's attractive at any age. So if you're over 60 and you want love, you've got to stop mistaking comfort for safety. Comfort is not your friend. Comfort is the jail keeper that's keeping you stuck. Love doesn't happen in the familiar. You know this. Love happens in uncertain times, in messy, vulnerable moments. And no, you're not too old for that. The only question is whether you're willing to trade a little comfort for a lot of possibility. I hope you found that interesting. Actually, I hope you found it helpful. If you did, you might enjoy this episode. But hey, before you go, this one right here, that's my little mama. She's adorable, I know. Please give my mom the thumbs up. She's asking for it so nicely, and I just don't want to disappoint her, ever. So if you could do that and then subscribe, and don't forget that, because if you can handle me calling out your comfort zone, you can definitely handle hitting one little button, and I'd appreciate it. I appreciate you hanging out with me today and every day. And until next time, I hope you have a good one.